I've researched and tested many online community platforms, and Skool is probably one of my favorite options on the market. What's up, friends? Paul here, and today we'll be diving into what Skool is and why you should consider it for building your online community. So perhaps you're looking for a place to build your course or community, and you've looked at the options and realized that it'll likely take a lot of time and perhaps money to get things up and running. And so it's an investment that you want to make hopefully only once and not have to switch later down the road. So in this video, I will share with you what makes a good online platform for your community, the features of Skool, and why Skool is a good option for you to consider. So first of all, what makes a good online platform? Skool has many of what I consider key elements to a great online course or community platform, such as the UI UX design. This to me is fundamental and key to a good platform. So it should integrate things like a community, so ways to message each other. It should have a classroom for your courses, a calendar for upcoming events or online events, direct messaging, and integrating them all well so they work well together and you don't have to have things in two different locations. Next up, gamification. That's very important because you want to keep people engaged and having fun. Otherwise, they probably won't come back to your course or community if they feel like it's more work than fun. And then the price. Is the price right? Are you spending more than the competitors for a similar product, or is it right? So we're going to dive into that. And then the team behind the product. Hint, it's Sam Ovens, and recently Alex Hormozi has even invested in the platform. If at any point you want to test out Skool, be sure to use my affiliate link in the description for a free 14-day trial. Many thanks for supporting the channel. So a quick overview of Skool. Skool was founded by Sam Ovens in 2019, and Sam has gone all in on building the best community platform. He even sold his other business, consulting.com, to focus all on Skool. He even made a YouTube video on that. So who is it for? I would say Skool is a great platform for course creators and coaches, but you can even use it for your business if you want to create, turn your fans into super fans by offering unique access and special bonuses or training materials, or just having an online community for people to hang out and talk to each other. So next up, the UI UX design. Let's chat about that. So Sam Ovens is a huge fan of simplicity. You can see simplicity as soon as you sign into the platform. It is just very simple and easy to navigate. I also want to talk about the logo here. So the logo, it's very interesting. It's a nod to the early days of the internet, those logos with multiple colors and maybe even lowercase. I think about websites like Google or eBay. I think that's kind of interesting. He's kind of breaking the norm of most logos or branding today, where you see maybe one or two colors. So he's kind of breaking the norm and nodding back to the early days of the internet. He's creating an innovative product. So I love what he's got going on here. And to be honest, I kind of feel like Skool is the Google of online community, because it just does the basics very well. It doesn't, it might not have all the bells and whistles, at least not yet, but at the same time, it does what it needs to do and does that well, which sometimes other platforms, it's not always there. Let's dive into one of the communities. And I am very grateful for Javier at the Finishers Secrets for letting me showcase this online community. It's one that I'm affiliated with and do work for occasionally. So he gave me permission to show you this as an example. So right away, you'll notice the top navigation. It's very clean and easy to navigate. You can toggle between communities. So if you've got multiple communities that you're a part of, you can easily click to switch. And then you've got all of the different elements that you probably would need at your fingertips at the very top. And then of course, search is always useful. You've got chats, you've got notifications, and then your user menu. So let's stick for a moment at the community tab. So here you can write something, and they've got these different kind of like tags or categories. I think they call them categories. So you can switch between them. to see them. You can also pin posts so people will see those first. It's great if you've got something that you want people to engage with, or if like you want an introductory post for people for the first time. It's just a great way to do that. They also have this sidebar here where you have like your key links that you have, and you can set this up in the settings. You also have a leaderboard, and this is, we'll talk about gamification in a moment here, but that's something really neat that they have built into the platform. So that's kind of the home feed. It's kind of like a Facebook feed, if you will, but you don't have any distractions of ads or things, trying to pop out and steal you away to another place. And I think they do that really well. It's like when you're in a community, you're in that community. And so I think that's a useful feature to have. So Classroom, this is great if you have any materials that you want to share. Maybe you have monthly meetings and maybe people can't always come, and that's a great way for them to get that. Or this is where you'll share your course materials, or maybe a starting of like a series of things that you want someone to do as they come in. And then you can also unlock rewards. And that's, again, the gamification. We'll talk about that in a moment as you level up. And then you have the calendar here, which is super helpful. So you can see what events are coming up. And when you click on an event, you can add it to your calendar, which I love. It's just so simple. It just gives you the option. So like if I wanted to add it to my Google Calendar, I can just click that and done. And that's what people really just need. And so I really enjoy this feature. And then members, obviously you can see all the members within the community, the leaderboards. Again, this is where the gamification comes in, and you can see here that you can unlock the different things for each level. And another thing that you can do, it hasn't been done in this community yet, but you can rename each level so you can kind of personalize it to your community, which I think is fantastic. And then they have the different leaderboards for 7 days, 30 days, and all time. So I think that's just fantastic. They have it. And then an about section, so people can learn more about your community, whether it's paid or free. Another thing I want to mention is that they have a single inbox. So one thing I will say that there's another community platform where each individual community has their own like direct message inbox, which I feel like it's easy for things to get lost. I know that they have more white labeling features, but at the same time, if you're, got this community and you want people to continually come back to it, I think it's kind of nice to have a central place for all of your chats. And that way you're not looking in like 10 different places for that. And so this is what the chat functionality looks like when you have it open. I love that you can see the time of whoever it is. So if they're in a different country, this is super useful because you never know if you're messaging them at 2 a.m. or, bright and early in the morning. And you can see, how you know each other. So whether you're part of different communities, I think it's just fantastic to see that right there. And then you have GIFs, however you want to say it, option. You can also add emojis and any attachments to send to the person as well. And it's just a very simple way to communicate. And their mobile app is actually good. I've experienced another community platform mobile app, and it just was not as user-friendly. It was a little bit clunky, whereas I feel like the Skool platform is much easier for you to get where you need to go, see the posts, reply to people. It just works, I also want to say real quickly that I love that they highlight whatever events coming up. So it doesn't get lost and you're not like, don't know what's coming up next. It's right there front and center. So you can also prioritize the live events and not just the posts that are constantly being, through the feed. I think that's something that really makes a difference. I'd also like to really quickly kind of dive through the admin, since this is probably where you're going to be to set things up. And I just want to tell you, it is very, very simple. I've tried other admin sections and of different platforms, and they can be very, there's just way too many options and you can just get lost in it. And I just feel like they do a really good job at keeping it very simple. And so you can have like an invite link. They have some like integrations, and I imagine this will grow as time goes on. You have like a general section where you can add the group name. You can customize the URL, I guess one time only. So make sure you set it to the right name from the get-go. You can have your initials, whatever color is your like branding, you can add that. And whether this is a private or public group, you can have categories. So again, however you want to set this up, but that's just an example of that. And to add a category, it looks like this. So you just have a name, description, and you can determine who can post. So anyone can post, anyone can view, or only admins and mods can post. So it's very simple as far as permissions go, and I'll kind of dive into that later, but it just works. You can add some plugins. So like if you wanted to auto DM members as soon as they sign up, you can do that. And you can have it so that you unlock chat at level 2. So maybe you want to reduce spam. And I'm actually glad to see this because I'll talk about this later. DMs, can be an issue, especially I'm sure you've experienced on LinkedIn or other places where basically people just spam you and there's not much you can do about it because it's just the platform and people just take advantage of it. I mean, obviously you can report it, but sometimes that doesn't always work. And so exciting to see all of this available. You can see the metrics. So how many people were active. And this is something, again, like that I think is fantastic, is that like you see much higher percentages than I would imagine seeing on other platforms. So that's just something that I feel like makes a big difference, is that the engagement level that you get. And let's be real, that's like probably the most important thing. The engagement level that you get with Skool that I've seen so far is probably one of the best out there. And then gamification, again, you can set it so that certain things unlock at different levels. And, for example, you can set the level name and then if there's like, things that you want to unlock. So that's just an example of that. And this is another feature that, sometimes, white labeling and all that is great, but sometimes you want to have your community where people can learn about it and join it if they're interested in what you have. And I think that's one of the fantastic things about this platform is the discovery feature. And I'll show you that in just a moment. And then any links. So, if you want to showcase like certain things that you want people to go back to, this is a great way. And again, those links will show up on the sidebar right here. So they're quickly accessible, but not in your face and in the way. And then you can also see how many members are online. And all of that data. So let's quickly show you the discovery. So discover communities, you'll see here, they kind of show you like kind of the top communities here. So that's just awesome. And then you can, search for, let's say you're into video editing. I'm sure they've got a community. Yeah. Tons of communities just on video editing. So it's just a great way so that you can, one, see what other people are doing, get ideas. And Skool even has a community. And this is where I think it's so neat, is that they're basically doing what they teach. And having someone like Sam Ovens actively engaging with the community. And here's an example of a profile. This is Sam Ovens' profile. And so his tag is, CEO at Skool. He was active 3 minutes ago. So again, he's very active in this community. It's not like he's just having a bird's eye view. He's engaged. He's communicating with people with communities. You can see his Myers-Briggs personality. You can see that he's from Los Angeles, California. You can see what communities are created by Sam, the memberships, and then the contributions below that, as well as what level. So he's at the wizard level for the Skool community. So if we go back, I just want to showcase that Alex Hormozi is in the building. He is, he posted. I'm actually curious to see if he's posted any more. It looks like just that. So maybe Alex isn't as active on the Skool community. That said, he is active for the Skool Games, which is really neat. More on that in a moment. Next up, gamification. So a central part of Skool is gamification. In fact, they recently hosted the Skool Games. So you can check that out over here. And you can notice that they've had over 10,000 people participating. It's happening right now, as you can see. And one of the prizes is winning a day with Alex Hormozi. And the prize is for the top 10 people on the leaderboards every month. So as you can see, gamification is at the heart of Skool, not only for those within a community, but those building a community, which I think is fantastic to see. So if we go back to the Finishers Elite, we can go to the leaderboards. And this is a great example of gamification. So basically how gamification works is as you post quality content and people like your post, you get a point. So each like gives you 1 point towards leveling up. So I've got 67 points to level up to level 5, where, for example, and the Finishers Elite, they currently have it set up so that you'll actually get a free Finishers Journal. So that's pretty amazing. You might have it where you unlock a free t-shirt or a course as shown here, or training. So I think it's just fantastic that you can make it fun for people to be engaged in your community so that as they interact, they're rewarded for their engagement and adding valuable content. So I think that's just fantastic. Next up, let's talk about the price. Is the price right? Because let's be real, if it's too expensive or if it's more expensive than other platforms, then why should you consider Skool versus the competition? So the price, let me tell you, is just very simple. No nonsense. It's $99 per month, no gimmicks. So compared to other platforms, I would say that it's on par or cheaper than other competitors, especially since there's unlimited everything. Like some platforms have it where if you have a certain number of members, then you get charged extra. And then there's no hidden fees. So just keep it very, very simple, which I think is fantastic. And as you notice the bullet points, like I was showing you, it's highly engaged, simple to set up, fun to use, and you can, charge for membership. I think currently they have it so that you can monetize on a monthly basis. I'm sure that they'll add to that as time goes on. And then they have the iOS and Android apps, which again, I think is a very good experience. And then millions of users daily. So, I think that's just a great example of how fast this community platform has grown since 2019. And I think it's just at the beginning stages. I don't think they've, even scratched the surface of what this platform is really capable of. So, I think one question that you probably should ask yourself is what makes Skool better than the competition? And I think at the heart of it is people like Sam Ovens and Alex Hormozi, who are very innovative, and they're putting their time and energy into this platform because they believe in it. They believe that it is capable of helping people facilitate the community and course elements that people are looking to have. And I think it goes back to it's simpler than social media. It doesn't it does social media, I feel like, well. It's like you have your community of people that are striving for a common goal or have similar interests, and then you can keep it a very clean, you don't have tons of ads. And I think that's just great. So simple and easy to use user navigation, the no nonsense pricing. And I would say people are already on this platform and they're regularly coming back to the platform. So that's more likely for them to return to it and interact with it. And then one of the simplest reasons for me is that I'm using it. It's like, if I don't use something and I don't enjoy it, it's hard for me to recommend it because I feel like those things that you don't go back to or use, you're not having fun with it, you're not going to stick with in the long term. And so far, I've been very impressed at the retention rate, or at least my commitment to reusing this platform. I think it's been great. I just want to quickly touch on some issues or things worth considering before jumping into this platform. So DM overload. So I think it hasn't been that bad. I will say that first of all, but there has been times when you get into a community and there will be people that, especially in some of these free communities, where they will DM you and basically try to sell you a product or service. So that was one of the biggest issues that I've encountered with Skool. I mean, again, it wasn't terrible. It's probably similar to what you might see on LinkedIn or other social media platforms. And so it's just probably inevitable of most platforms. And that said, what I love is that Skool, Sam Ovens even posted about this, asking how would be best to help solve this issue. Well, I can't say for sure, like it's gone away completely. I do believe it's gotten much, much better. Another thing worth mentioning is the lack of permission settings. So you do get some settings that you can change, but there are still some that seem to be missing, like having like subgroups. But perhaps this is a pro, as it contributes to the platform simplicity. It's not like you have a bunch of different groups within a bigger group. It's like you just have this one group. That's basically it. So maybe that's a pro and not a con. Another thing worth considering is the lack of white labeling. So other platforms, they give you the option to white label, which means that you can have your own domain. And when people go to that domain, like community.yourbusiness or community.com, it's whatever your name of your community is. You can do that. And then, people can make it look like it's their own kind of brand. And it's not like you got the school like shown anywhere or like whatever platform it is. But like, I will say that like Skool does a really good job at keeping things very clean. I mean, if you look at it, there's not much Skool branding on this page for the community. And, even at the bottom of the page, I'm not really seeing anything. So I think that's definitely a pro. Oh, right over here, you see powered by Skool, but that's very minimal. And again, I think like it's a trade-off. Like if you want the white label, the pro is that you get the white label. But on the bad side of it is that maybe people won't return to your platform. Maybe that's the one time they'll be on that platform and then they'll never come back. So I think it's actually a pro that all of these different communities are on this platform and using it, because that encourages people to come back. And that's, again, something is that you have a unified notification. Basically, all of your communities groups will be shown here. I wonder if there's a way to select, I'm guessing if I'm in a community, let's see if I'm in here, notifications. Okay, so yeah, you can just select this group and that way you can see only the notifications from a single group and you can mark all as red. And I will say that one thing I'm really excited about is that they have, so this is what a profile looks like. And this is also awesome. You get all of your social links. So like instead of having to fill it out for each community, you just have one place to fill it out and you're done. It's awesome. But I also wanted to show you that notifications, you can set the notification for each place. So, if you don't want emails every day or week, you can set it to never even, which I think is fantastic, because otherwise, you might get bombarded by tons and tons of email, which is also a problem. So I think it's great that they have that option baked into it. So lack of white labeling, I actually think that it might be more of a pro than a con in this case. If you want to try Skool, be sure to use my affiliate link in the description for a free 14-day trial. So let me know, are you considering Skool or another community platform? Let me know in the comments below. Also, let me know if there's anything else you want me to cover about Skool or another community platform. Would love to hear from you. And if you don't mind, smash the subscribe button and hit the like button so it doesn't get completely lonely. I would love to have you all in the channel fam. And until next time, my friends, stay techie.